discuss how I converted to Islam. I would tell you all the details, but I have to protect my family. And I feel like every revert has things that they can't just like openly share. So I'd like to write a book one day, but inshallah. Anywho, so I converted when I was 17 in January 2020. I had went to private school for all of middle school, and that kind of set up my knowledge because I had studied the Bible in depth, although I hadn't like read it front to back at that time. And I had been raised in a good environment. I also was taught about Islam, but I was taught stereotypes about Islam, unfortunately. So for high school, I can't really go into why, but I had to do homeschool. I did online school. So on top of that, I also had very strict parents. I didn't go out very much. I would say I probably went out like twice a year. So obviously that was very, very difficult for me, and I had a lot of free time on my hands, as you can imagine. So I dove into the Bible. I read it front to back, and then I was at a school event and I saw a Muslim for the first time. Coming from the South, I didn't even know that there were different like ethnicities besides like 3 different ones, okay? So it was like finding a rare exotic bird. And obviously, being the devout Christian I was, and like having been posting like Bible verses on a daily basis on my Instagram and doing Instagram lives, reading the Bible, I was like, I am gonna convert this person. I didn't do a very good job, as you can tell. So basically, I went to the library with my grandma because that was like one of the few times I got to go out. Oop, be careful. And at the library, surprisingly, I found really good resources to study Islam. So I found a book that addressed stereotypes directly, which was kind of wild. It was literally like page 1, jihad does not mean offing yourself for the sake of heaven, basically. I found a really good Quran, which is also very rare. And I picked up some other books too, but those 2 were probably the most impactful. Everything else that I found out about Islam, I found out through studying online. So like YouTube was a main thing. Learning prayers, I used YouTube for. And it kind of started out as like, oh, I'd never do that, but I like the concept of hijab. Oh, I'd never do that, but I like this from the Quran. Oh, I'd never convert, but I like XYZ. Until gradually I was like, okay, so everything in here makes sense, and I don't really know why I'm not Muslim at this point. And I remember crying next to my bed, like on my knees, and being like, God, please grant me like comfort and ease in this decision, because it is very difficult for me, and everyone's telling me that I'm gonna go to hell if I do this, but I don't understand why I would go to hell for praying 5 times a day and dressing modestly and worshiping one God. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And at that moment, I felt complete ease just wash over my body in an instant. And I felt so much confidence about the decision I needed to make. And I said my shahada in my living room. And I actually, before I converted, I had studied the prayers online, so I had written down the Arabic on flashcards, and I knew how to pray. Rumi. I was using YouTube tutorials for every single prayer, so I would type in the search Fajr prayer tutorial, Zuhur prayer, and just follow along the guy doing it on the screen.